You see, making $100 a day really isn't that hard because if you think about it, that's $3,000 a month. And for most of you, 75% of you watching this actually, you're from the UK, which that means it's around £2,100 in a month. That's barely above minimum wage. In this video, I'm gonna go over what it takes to make $100 a day without a full-time or part-time job. Also while working with complete location and time freedom. Let's get into it. So generally speaking, there are three ways you can kind of do this. Number one, you can sell a product. Number two, you can sell a service. And number three, you can start an OnlyFans. Speaking of which, I'm actually thinking about starting a business advice OnlyFans because to be honest, I just think it would be absolutely hilarious. Comment down below if you would actually subscribe to an OnlyFans. But you know, jokes aside, like OnlyFans is actually a unicorn company at this point and they are regularly producing multiple 9 figures in annual recurring revenue. So like there is definitely massive opportunity there. So genuinely, like, sell a product, sell a service, start an OnlyFans. It's pretty cool. Anyways, back to the topic. $3,000 a month right now to you might seem like quite a lot, but let's actually break this down. What does making $3,000 a month look like? Well, personally for me, like the average client billable on a monthly basis is around $5,000. So just one client alone for me would mean $3,000 a month in profit. However, for you guys, it could look something like this. You could be selling 3 products or services every single month at $1,000, or you can sell 30 products or services at around $100, or you can sell 60 goods or services at around the $50 price point. You see, if you actually just break it down like that, it seems a lot more reasonable. Because if you think about it, it's actually not too hard to get 60 people to pay you $50, correct? So at this point, you might be wondering, how do you actually even build up to that point? Well, firstly, you need to identify some form of gap in the market, whether it be a pain point or a problem. And to be honest, if you're trying to only scale to $100 a day, then that problem that you're solving can be very, very small. Something as simple as fixing a bike puncture, car washes, or like selling astrology bracelets. It can literally be the tiniest of problems. Then you need to conduct some market research in terms of finding out what's already out there on the market. The reason why you want to do this and kind of just focus on what other people are doing and seeing what works for them is because if you're only trying to make $100 a day, you don't need too much differentiation. You could just create a Me Too product or service and start selling that. Also, having a good pulse of the market will allow you to price your goods and services accordingly. Personally, I always like to go on the higher end simply because it's much better to differentiate yourself through the quality of your offering as opposed to trying to get into a price war with your competitors and driving both of your margins down the drain. For example, if you're trying to provide a B2B service, so a business to business service, then what I would do is just make it a no-brainer for anyone to kind of sign up with you. And if you're selling a physical product, make sure that your product solves the customer's problems better than anyone else out there in the market, and therefore you can afford to charge more. Personally, if I was to start my business completely over again from scratch, I would just literally start a high-ticket B2B service providing business where I'm either providing consultations for clients or actually doing the work for them in terms of going into their business, actually making the changes myself. So now you might be wondering, you know, how do you actually go about doing this? Well, first of all, you would list your services on a freelancing platform such as Upwork, Fiverr, or there are a few other ones I'm not really too familiar with. Or you can just, you know, go into Facebook groups and find your own clients yourself. The most important thing is to kind of just stick to it because most likely, you know, in your first 5 to 6 months of freelancing, you're not going to have too much traction. But once you build some industry experience, you're going to start getting clients through referrals and things of that nature, where to the point where, you know, you're going to be able to consistently bring in heavy cash flow every single month. So yeah, that's kind of just the guiding principles on how to make $100 a day. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like on this video if you did. Have a good rest of your week.